This is Amud Yomi Gemara in Shabbos Daf Lamed Gimel Amud Beis, and we pick it up on the bottom of Lamed Gimel Amud Aleph, 2 lines from the bottom. Tanu Rabbanon, says the Gemara, Arba Simanim Heim. There are 5 Simanim of different Midas Ra'is. Similar Avira Hidraka, and it shouldn't say Midas Ra'is. It should say straight up Avirais. Similar Avira Hidraka, someone who did an Avira. And the Mefarshim are explaining this time about Avera dealing with Arayis is Hidrakon, a certain type of illness, similar sinas chinam. If someone is saying chinam, someone hates other people, Yirakoin, gets jaundice. Similar gasus saruach, if someone is haughty, aniyas, poverty. Similar lashain hara, askara is a terrible death of askara. Tanarabon and askara bal ilam. Askara comes to the world as we turn over to Lamid Gimel Amid Beis Al HaMaiser. Why does Askara come? For those who are not scrupulous with separating Maiser. Rav Lezer, Rav Yesi Aimer teaches us, Rav Yesi Lashon Hara comes to the world due to Lashon Hara. Amar Rava says, Rav Tim Rav Shub and Levi, Maikra. Where do you see in the pasuk that Lashon Hara could bring upon Askara? Says the pasuk, Melech Yisach Belikim. And the king rejoiced with Hashem. Yishalel kol hanisha bai. He was Yishalel, he was glorified with everyone who nishva bai, who swore with it. Ki yisacher bi tivrei shaker. Why? When the mouth of liars will be stopped. Ki yisacher, stopped up. So what do we see? We see that one who speaks incorrectly could bring upon the terrible disease of Askara. So Ibayalahu asks the Gemara, when Rav Yesi said that Askara comes for Lashon Hara, says the Gemara, Al Lashon Hara kamar, Oidilma Al Lashon Hara nami kamar. Is it solely due to Lashon Hara, or is Lashon Hara another one of the Averas that could bring such an issue? Tashema, says the Gemara 8 lines down. First one line is kamar. Tashema, now Yesham Rav Yehuda. There was Rav Yehuda was there, Rav Yehuda Rav Eloi, Rav Shimon, Yesi Rav Shimon. Nishalu Sheila Zubefneim. They asked this Shaila, Makazu, this Maka, this disease of Askara Neimam is Chalas Bibnei Me'ayim V'Gomeres Bapeh. Why does it begin with the insides of a person and conclude by the mouth? So Nena Rav Yehuda Rav Eloi, in the last narrow line, Roisha Medabrim B'Chol Makom, the one who's always the head of the speakers everywhere, V'Amar. And he said, even though the kidneys are that which give AIDS advice, V'leiv Mavin, and the heart understands, V'lashan Mechatiach, and the tongue articulates the world, still, Peh Goimer, the Peh is the Goimer, the Peh is that which completes all the words, and therefore the final stage of the punishment is with the Peh. Why is the mouth get afflicted last? Because one eats non-kosher items. Says the Gemara, Dvarim Tameim Salkadaytach. Really? You think he's eating Dvarim Tameim? We're not talking about that. Talk about someone who speaks Lashon Hara. And who taught you that Dvarim Tameim would bring about this terrible punishment of Askara? Rather, Allah says, Rav Yesi, you know what he must have meant? He ate items which were not mitukan, which were not fixed on the third very wide line, that the Shumas and Maisers were not taken off. The third answer, Nena Rav Shimon Vaimer Babin Bittel Taira. Askara comes due to Bittel Taira. Amrulai. Nashim Yechichu. But women will prove that's not true, because women could get this disease, and women are not mechayiv on Bittel Taira. Says the Gemara, harsh and difficult word, Shemevatlois Esba Lehen. Yes, indeed, a woman is shaykh to Bittel Taira. How? She ignores or she interrupts her husband's learning. Says the Gemara, 1 second. What about non-Jews? They can get this disease. Says the Gemara, Shemevatel es Yisrael. No, because they're mevatel the Yidden from learning. Tinaykos yechichu. Shemevatel es aviem. They're mevatel their parents. Tinaykos shel beis rabin yechichu. Why? Because they do study Torah, and yet Tinaykos shel beis rabim at times are afflicted by this horrible disease. Says the Gemara, you know the reason why at times Tinakish Rabban get this disease, Hasab K'Rebbe Gurion. Ta'amar Rebbe Gurion, Vitim Rebbe Yisrael Shimaya, Bismancha Sadikim Ba'adar, Sadikim Ditzvasim Aladar. When there are Sadikim in the Dar, the Sadikim are the ones that are punished for the Averos of the Dar. Ein Sadikim Ba'adar, Tinakish Rebbe Yisrael Ditzvasim Aladar. Showing us the incredible power of the children, that they're on the level of tzaddikim, that they could receive punishment for the ganze dar. My kara, where do we see this in the pasuk? We're 10 lines into the very wide lines. The first line is my kara. If you don't know, the beautiful woman, silach mikveh atzai, the footsteps of the sheep, V'amrinan, and this pasuk teaches Gediyim amushachin al arayim, that the Gediyim, referencing the kids, analogies to Tinagish Beis Rabban hamamushchanim, that are collaterals al arayim on the sheeps, that the children can be those that are punished for the sins of the dar. Shema Mina, af Allah shenhar nami kamer Shema Mina. So concludes the Gemara. We see from all of these sources that Askara is not solely for Lashon Hara, but rather additionally for Lashon Hara. Asks the Gemara of my Karile Roisha Medabrim. About 15 lines into the wide lines, the first one line is Karile. What is the reason that Rav Yehuda received this title of Roisha Medabrim B'chol Makam D'Yasser Rav Yehuda Rav Yisrael Rav Shimon? V'Yasser Rav Yehuda Ben Gerim Gabai V'Zeh Gerim sitting amongst the Pasach Rav Yehuda V'Amar Kamanoyim Hayasim Shaluma Zu wonderful are the deeds of the Romans. Teknu Shvakim, a famous Gemara. They established marketplaces. Teknu Gisharim, they made bridges. Teknu Merchatzois, they made bathhouses. Rav Yossi Shasak, Rav Yossi was quiet. Then Rav Shimon Bar Yochai V'Amar, the Heilige Rashbi, opened up his mouth and he says, Kol Mash Teknu, Lai Teknu, not for us. But in Zaynais, they made the market so the Zaynais could sit there to indulge in the wonderful pleasures of the bathhouse, Kishar and bridges, Lital Mamnechas to take tolls. Holach Yehuda Ben Gerim is Sefer Devrei Yehuda Ben Gerim, who was sitting there amongst all these Tanaim, went and he told over Menishvula Malchus, and eventually the Malchus. The Romans heard how the Yidden are talking about them. Amru, they said, Yehudi She'ilah, Yehuda, Rabbi Yehuda, he elevated the status of the Romans. Yit Aleh, he'll be elevated. Yoyisi, Rabbi Yisrael Shasak, he was quiet. Yiglu Tzipayri, he's going to go to be exiled to the town of Tzipayri. And Shimon Shagina, Shimon Yochai, the Eli Garashbi, that he spoke negatively about the Romans. Yeherag, he shall be executed. Azalhu b'rei tashu b'midrasha. Once they heard of such a decree from the Roman government, Yashbi and his son Rav Lazar went, and they hid in the base of Medrash called Yom Avimaisu Debesu. Every day Rav Shimon's wife would bring them rifta v'kuza damayo krachi, bread, a small pitcher of water, and they would eat. Ki takiv kizirasa, when the gzira got worse, Amrle lebrei, Rav Shimon said to his son, Nashim deitin kala aleim, women are easily swayed. Tell them, maybe the Romans are going to torture and they're going to reveal their hiding place. So therefore, Rashbi and his son Rav Elazar decided they needed to find somewhere else to hide. Azal tashu b'ma'arta, they went. This is the famous cave of Rav Shimon Yochai, but now they had no food. So as Rachesh Nisa happened, they brought Charuva ve'ina demaya, a spring of water and a carob tree was created for them, and that's where they ate. They took off their clothing, and they would sit covered up in sand all the way to their necks. The entire day they would learn. When the time for davening came, they would get dressed, and then they would daven. Then they would take off their clothing again, putting themselves back inside the sand. Why? Because they don't want their clothing to be worn out. They're sitting in a cave with absolutely nothing, and they don't know when they're going to get out, as we're going to see. They were in this cave for years. Therefore, they only have one pair of clothing, so they only put it on to daven. They were 12 years in the cave. Hanavi comes. and he's standing at the entrance to the cave. Amar man Eliyadi Devar Yochai Demis Kesar. Who's going to tell you about Yochai that the Caesar died? Ubatak Zerta Nafka. Rashbi, Rav Elazar, they heard, they came out of the cave. Chazu Inshi. And what happened? They saw people, Karbi Vizari. They saw people that were plowing. They saw people that were sowing their fields. Amar. Says Rav Shimon Yochai, he couldn't fathom, after being on such a lofty and high level of learning Torah, literally Yomim V'Layla for 12 years, he couldn't understand how could someone be busy with the mundane pursuits of this world. And you know what happened? Of course, Kol Makom Shenasun Eineim, Rav Shimon Bar Yochai and his son would look, Miyan Nisraf, their holy eyes would burn the land, burn the crop that they looked at. Yatsa Baskel v'amr lehem. A Baskel comes out from Shemayim and says to them, Lach Revoma Yatzatem, you came out of the cave to destroy my world. Chezru l'martachem, go back to your cave. We're 20 lines to the bottom. The first one line is Hadar. Hadar Vazel, they went back and they returned to the cave. They lived there for another 12 months, another year. Amri, they said, Mishpetei Rishayim Be'Gehenim Shem was a Chaydesh. If people in Gehenim stay for 12 months, so they said, maybe we can come out now. And now Rashbi and his son Rav Elazar, Rav Shimon, come out of the cave. Nafku, they come out and again they see people working. But this time, everywhere Rav Elazar would destroy. Rav Elazar still had the fiery gaze that when he looked, he would destroy. Havimasi Rav Shimon. But Rav Shimon Bar Yochai was able to heal. B'nei Amrulai. Rav Shimon Bar Yochai said to his son Rav Elazar, B'nei, Dai lo'ila mani v'ata. The world is enough of people learning Torah, me and you. We don't have to have others on our level. Bahadei panya demali Shabbata. It was getting late, close to Friday. Chazahu Saba. They saw a certain old man, Davinakit Terei Medani Asa, was taking two pieces, bundles of Hadassim. He was running as he was getting close to Shabbos. Amruleh, Hani Lamilach, what do you need these Hadassim? Amruleh, Chavayid Shabbos. Tiskil Abachad. So Rashbi, Rav Elazar, Rav Shimon said, wait, why is one not enough? Chad Keneged Zachar, V'chad Keneged Shamer, answered the person. Amr Le'lebrei, Rav Shimon said to son, Chazi, look, Kama Chavivin Mitzvah Yisrael, Yosef Daitayu, and they got calmed down. Shamer, Abichas ben Yar Chasane, Abichas ben Yar, the son-in-law of Shimon Bar Yochai, heard that Rav Shimon came out of his cave in Afik Labi, he wanted to greet him, he brought him to the bathhouse, Avika Arich Le'le Bisrei. They were massaging his skin. His skin was cracked from living for 12 months with absolutely nothing, hiding in the sand, only putting in clothing to daven. Rabichas began to cry, and the tears were rolling down his face. And the tears fell on the cracks of Shimon Bar Yochai's skin and was causing him pain. Amr Le, Rav Pinchas ben Yair said to Rashbi, Oy, how I have to see you in such a decrepit situation. Amr Loi, Rashbi said, no, Ashrecha, Sharisani Bakach, wonderful and praiseworthy that you see me like this. Shalmali Larisi Bakach. If you didn't see me like this in such pain, Lamatzasi Bikach, I would not be able to possess the incredible Torah that I had to make car in the beginning before he went to the cave. Kavimarkshi Rav Shimon Yochai Koshi Avim Fark Rav Pinchas ben Yair Teresa Peruki. Rav Pinchas ben Yair respond with 12 possible answers, but L'Saif. After the 12 incredible years of learning the cave, Kavimarkshi Rav Pinchas ben Yair Kosha Havim Fark Rashbi Esther Marba Peruki 24 questions. So Rav Shimon Yochai's level of learning raises such incredible levels, and we'll pick it up from here, V'siyata Dishmaya.